Hi everybody, I want to roll out an alternative control measure to the coronavirus. It is known as total eradication of coronavirus. The whole world is deploying only one method of control measure, and that is the lockdown control measure. Lockdown, unfortunately, is very expensive. It paralyzing the whole world and turning the whole world upside down. Above all, lockdown control measure doesn't cure the viruses. It only advising everybody to avoid the viruses so that less people will be infected. Unlike my control measure actually come in and kill the viruses, capture the viruses and kill them. WHO and many of the experts all over the world already declared that these viruses are not going to go away, and they are going to stay on for a long time. They also prepare everybody for a new normal lifestyle, meaning that we have to coexist with the viruses. Indirectly, they are telling everybody that the lockdown control measure failed, doesn't work. I agree with them. The whole world has been locked down for more than 7-8 months. Until today, still locked down. Some countries, a little bit luckier, have fewer daily cases, so they ease off the lockdown in various stages. See what happened. Many of them get the second wave, some even on the third wave. Let me tell you this. More waves will come due to the fact that the lockdown control measure doesn't kill the viruses. Lockdown control measure came from Wuhan. Wuhan being the first city being attacked by the COVID-19. So China quickly locked down Wuhan and isolating Wuhan. After 10 weeks of lockdown, Wuhan appeared to be successful. So every nation copied from Wuhan. Now Wuhan's success is not because of the lockdown. It was because of during the 10 weeks of lockdown, Wuhan deploying a chemical sanitizing of the whole Wuhan city of 11 million people that brought down the viruses in the environment down to almost zero. Naturally, nobody get infected. Here we know the viruses are in the environment. That's the reason why anyone come out to the open space must wear a mask to prevent the viruses from entering into the nose. The higher the concentration of viruses in the environment, the more people will be infected, and the lesser concentration of viruses in the environment, fewer people will be infected. And if there's no viruses in the environment, nobody will be infected. So the whole idea is to bring the viruses down from the environment. To fight the enemy, we must always know the strength of the enemy and the weakness of the enemy. In this case, our enemy is the viruses. The strength of the viruses is their number, plenty of it all over in the environment. And the weakness of the viruses is they are heat sensitive. Heat sensitive meaning that at higher temperature, the viruses will be killed. These viruses has got the capsule, and inside the capsule is the RNA. The capsule is made of lipid. Lipid means fat. Fat means at higher temperature the fat will be melted and the viruses will be killed. Outside the capsule, there are many studs. The studs are made of protein, so they are more rigid. And the stud has got two functions. One is to help the viruses to attach to the surfaces, to the wall and our human body. And the second function of the stud is to help the viruses to fly. Some light wind will be able to carry the viruses to far away distance. In other words, the viruses, they are airborne. Once the viruses are airborne, social distancing has got no effect whatsoever. What is 1-2 meter to the viruses? However, if you are next to the person who is tested positive, you're likely to receive more viruses from the person than anybody else further away. In our control measure, we want everybody to have a lot of viruses on their body. The ultimate aim for the viruses is to enter into the nose. Once they enter into the nose, they landed and attach to the mucosa. Once they attach to the mucosa, they require our body temperature to slowly melt the capsule. Once the capsule is melted, the RNA will penetrate into the mucosa. Our body temperature is only 37 degrees centigrade. Let alone if the temperature is 50-60 degrees centigrade, it should melt the capsule a lot faster and kill the viruses. I propose a temperature of 80 to 90 degrees centigrade. At this temperature, the viruses should be killed in 5 to 10 minutes, most likely 5 minutes. However, at this point, I want to leave the setting of the temperature and the duration to every government to decide. Sauna spa, the temperature is between 65 to 90 degrees centigrade. And yet people who go into the sauna spa, they spend more than 30 minutes to get themselves sweated up. And the sauna spa operator never say too young or too old, too sick, not allowed to come in. They welcome everybody. Next is the application. Now we know the viruses are in the environment. We must bring them in and kill them. To do that, every government must construct what I call a sauna chamber. And each sauna chamber is like a 20-footer container. The sauna chamber should easily be dismantled, assembled, stored up, and transported to the epicenter as required. At this point, I want to leave the design and the construction of the sauna chamber to every government, including the heating devices. Once the sauna chamber are ready, deploy them to the epicenter all over the city, unlock the city and return the life back to the old normal. Get everybody to come up to the open space and capture the viruses by allowing the viruses to attach to the body and bring them into the sauna chamber and kill them with the high temperature. This must be done by everybody at least once a day. And before going back home, make sure nobody bring the viruses home to the family. Now this is a big job. It has to be done by everybody, not by the government. Government alone can't do it. Government can only provide the sauna chamber, manage it and maintain the temperature at 80 to 90 degrees centigrade to strengthen up everybody's belief. One must imagine the viruses are in the environment, and the option for the viruses is either attach to the human body or stay in the environment. If stay in the environment after a few days, the viruses most likely will be dead. If attached to the human body, it will be brought in to the sauna chamber and get killed. So the viruses has got no option to survive. The best option for the viruses is to enter into somebody's nose. This is not going to be easy because by law, anyone who come up to the open space must wear the mask. Unlike before, when the viruses attach to the body, the viruses likely to be end up in the house, and in the house, nobody wearing any mask, chances for the viruses to get into the nose will be a lot higher. Now we know the viruses has got no option to survive. So total eradication of the viruses is possible, highly possible. I believe it should not take more than 2 months to have total eradication of the viruses. Total eradication of the viruses in less than 2 months, due to the fact that viruses has got no option to survive. Once this is done, the whole environment will be free from viruses, therefore nobody will be infected, and the vaccine becoming unnecessary. The next is an application for the future. The whole world has got no answer to the future viral attack. No answer. Look at what happened to the COVID-19 when it comes in. It spread like wildfire, and in such a short period of time, it ended up in pandemic. It appeared to be every 3 to 7 years, the viruses gonna come back and attack the world. 2003 SARS. 6 years later, 2009 H1N1. 3 years later, 2012 MERS. And 7 years later, 2019 COVID-19. And it appeared to be every time the viruses come back, they are harder and harder to get rid of them. SARS viruses arrived in the winter and practically gone by summer due to the summer heat. All in all, the viruses lasted for 6 to 8 months. Too short a period for the vaccine to get ready. And when you come to H1N1, this time the viruses are stronger and lasted longer. Long enough for the vaccine to get ready. Eventually the viruses were eradicated by the vaccination. And when you come to COVID-19, this time the viruses are even stronger and harder to get rid of. Even the lockdown control measure not be able to get rid of the viruses. Look at the damage the COVID-19 has done to the world, paralyzing the whole world and turning the whole world upside down. In my whole life, I never see so many aeroplanes grounded. So much so the airport don't have enough parking space for the aeroplane. Some of the planes have to park along the taxiway. And don't forget, that is illegal parking. Now the whole world is waiting for the vaccine. And many of them, they are fighting for the vaccine, try to reserve as much vaccine as possible for their own country. The vaccine likely to be ready in 6 months time, and after that you still need another 1 or 2 years to have total eradication of the COVID-19. Well and good, COVID-19 eventually gone. And let me tell you this, the world still has got no answer to the future viral attack. The next viral attack may be 7 years from COVID-19, 2026. Is the world going to face another lockdown? Can the world take another lockdown? Now, the world has got no answer to the future viral attack. Unlike my control measure, sauna chamber control measure, has got the answer for the present and also for the future viral attack. In future, we don't care how the viruses come in. It may come in through the wild animals from the bats, or escape from the laboratory, or somebody bringing from other countries. As long as the local government noticing there is a human-to-human transmission, and this involved with the airborne viruses, quickly bring out the sauna chamber from the warehouse and deploy them onto the epicenter, get everybody to bring the viruses in. I am sure, very sure, that with this control measure, we should be able to contain the viruses and to prevent another pandemic. Finally, I agree that my control measure failed and useless if somebody can prove that the viruses will not be killed at a higher temperature of 80 to 90 degrees centigrade. Then I admit my control measure is useless. Forget about it. Go back to your lockdown and wait for the vaccine. Otherwise, for goodness sake, quickly deploy the sauna chamber control measure and save the world. Save the world. Thank you very much, and good luck to everybody. Bye bye.